Today's Bible verse comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 16, and it says, "Don't you know that you yourself are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in your midst?" This is one of those verses that packs a punch, reminding us of the incredible truth that we are not just ordinary people, we are God's temple, and that His Spirit lives within us. When Paul wrote this, he wrote it to a church in Corinth, a group of folks who had their fair share of issues. And he wanted to remind them that God's presence wasn't just confined to some far-off temple, but rather it was right there within them, individually and as a community. It's like God moved His headquarters from a fancy building to our hearts and said, "Hey, this is where I'm setting up shop." Now here's where it gets real. We often do not treat ourselves like we're God's temple. Let's be honest. We are our own worst critics. We beat ourselves up, we compare ourselves to others, and we end up feeling like we fall short. And on top of that, we treat our bodies like they were more of a dumpster than a sacred space. I mean, have you seen the junk that we put in? The lack of exercise, terrible food choices. It's like we forget that our bodies are meant to be something special, not just a trash bin for, whatever's around. For me, this Bible verse is a wake-up call. It's saying, hey, Ben, you're not just anyone. You're God's temple. And that's a big deal. It's kind of like when company comes over. You get all into cleanup mode. You dust, you vacuum, you break out the good china, and you put on your best clothes. Why? Because you want to honor your guests. Well, guess what? Jesus has already shown up, and He's sticking around. So let's start treating ourselves with a kind of care and respect, inside and out, to honor this amazing guest, Jesus. And so, God, thank you for making us your dwelling place. Help us to see ourselves the way you see us, valuable, sacred, and loved. I hope you guys have an amazing day. God bless.